This is 3 steps to sketch on function transformations, and we're going to take a look at the transformation of y equals x cubed, or the cube function. So we're going to graph y equals 2 times x minus 4 cubed plus 1/2. And to do this, we will use our on the graph method. All right, so we'll remind ourselves of what we're graphing and our outline as well. And let's go ahead and also write out our parent function. We know our parent function is that vertical snake, y equals x cubed. And now we're ready to jump into the 3 steps to sketch method. So step 1, we will analyze our transformations. We got to get a good idea of what's going on with this transformed graph. So looking first at our horizontal transformations, we see there's only one, and it's what appears in with the x. So the parentheses make it in with the x for this cube function. And we know that when we're applying horizontal transformations, first of all, they only affect our x coordinates. And secondly, we should do them as if we were solving. Okay, so that means create yourself a helper equation, set equal to 0, and ask yourself, what would I do to solve this helper equation? Because that's a pretty easy question, and that also tells you what your transformations should be horizontally. And if you had multiple, it also makes sure you apply them in the right order. So this one's easy enough. We know to solve that helper equation, we would just add 4 to both sides. So our first and only horizontal transformation is moving everything right 4, or just adding 4 to our x's. All right, so that means the rest of what we have are vertical transformations. We do have multiple. We know these affect our y coordinates. And we know that when we have vertical transformations, we should be applying them in PEMDAS order. So we have this 2 out front. We're multiplying our y's times 2. And we have this plus 1/2. So we're adding 1/2 to our y's, or shifting up. Okay, so multiplication comes before addition, which means we'll do the stretch first. So stretch by a factor of 2, or just multiply your y's times 2. And then second, you'll shift everything up 1/2 of a unit, or your y's plus 1/2. All right, so now that we've analyzed our transformations, we move on to step 2, plot and transform. So we'll first start by plotting our parent function, and we'll do that in green. Okay, lightly plot this. Okay, and we know that it's our vertical snake, so it also includes points like 2, 8, and -2, -8. And we won't put those are a little bit off our grid, but it's just a good thing to keep in mind so that you aren't confusing this with the cube root function. All right, so let's get a different color now. We'll switch to blue to apply our first transformation. And remember, we're just creating a series of intermediate graphs. So we'll do that with different colors and with x's, so we don't confuse this with our final graph. So let's start by moving our original points right 4. So we'll transfer each of these right 4, and we're putting blue x's to denote that this is an intermediate graph. All right, easy enough. Let's switch now to yellow, and we'll move on to our vertical transformations. So we'll start first by stretching vertically by a factor of 2. So you either should think multiply all your y coordinates by 2, or you can think of doubling their distance away from the x-axis. Okay, so let's start with our leftmost point. We're working from our blue graph now. Okay, so that y coordinate is -1, so now it becomes -2, or you double the distance away from the x-axis. All right, the one on the x-axis, well, its y coordinate is 0, so it stays put. And our other point is similar to the first. It doubles its distance away, or is now at a y of 2. All right, so we've checked that one off. We're ready for our last transformation, and it's simply to shift up 1/2. So from our yellow x's, we'll shift up 1/2, and let's switch to red to do that. Okay, so moving each of these up by 1/2 a unit. And now we can move on to step 3. Darken these final points and sketch in our vertical snake graph. So darken those red points and sketch in the vertical snake. So this is graphing a transformation of the cube function using our on the graph method and 3 steps to sketch.